What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Tie My Skates podcast. It's DG and Z, and the Flyers are 6-2-2 in their first 10 games to start the season. It's incredible. It's a great start, and what we're going to do today is, I think, a little differently from what we did last week. We're going to start every episode here on out with a little recap, kind of like a game-by-game thing. Of every single game, give our analysis, our takes, whatnot. And then after that, we'll go into a couple of other topics, including around the league and post-game. So to start, Z, Flyers after dark week. What are your thoughts?
Fucking sucks staying up till like 10 waiting for the game to start.
Yeah, I agree. I actually only stayed awake for 1 out of the 3 games that week. I barely made it through the first period of Edmonton and Calgary without passing out. It was nuts. So Vancouver's the only game I actually can somewhat talk about a little bit, but still. It was kind of a long time ago, so I'm forgetting a little bit. But yeah. It's
I watched all the games, stayed up for all of them like a big boy. But yeah, we can start in Edmonton. Super entertaining game. High octane offense back and forth. And the Flyers, beat the Oilers at their own game, winning 5-3. And just watching that power play, the Oilers power play, that is, it is insane the amount of offensive talent they have on that team.
Yeah, it's impressive that we came away with a win there, especially because it is the only loss the Oilers have all season. So that's even more impressive because they've looked really, really good to start the season. I'm a big hater of the Oilers. I always am just like, this team sucks. They have the best player in the world, and they're not good at building around that guy. But this year, it kind of looks a little different. I don't think they're going to win the Cup anyway, but I think they've actually slowly started to mold that team into a dynasty. Maybe.
They're out in the second round.
Yeah, they'll win a round and get bounced by I don't even know.
Winnipeg or some shit.
Yeah, I was going to say the Jets, actually. I really do like the Jets for some odd reason.
Yeah, well, they have good goaltending, and that's what Edmonton needs. I'll be shocked if this team doesn't pick up a goalie before the trade deadline.
That's true.
They have Mike Smith as their starter. I think he's injured right now. So Koskinen has been getting the starts, and he was garbage in the game he played against the Flyers. Those 2 wraparounds were so weak. I was pumped because it was G and who got the other one, Thompson. Obi Kubel wrapped it around, but Thompson got it.
I remember the G goal.
And then Atkinson scored with milliseconds left at the end of the first period. That probably should have been saved, and then he scored on the clapper that went 5-hole. That was from the point almost. Yeah,
that is a problem for them. I think Mike Smith's got to be in his 40s or something.
He's got to be, and he's I guess he could get you through the regular season if he's healthy, but he's not gonna win playoff series at this age.
Yeah, it's like having a guy like Michael Leighton as your goalie going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
you're not going to win anything with him.
You can't start him every game. He can't go 7 games in a row, a 7-game series.
Yeah, I feel like Edmonton is like I said, they're starting to build towards that Stanley Cup team, but it's going to take some time. They got Duncan Keith, who I guess is a good asset to their team right now, but he's 36 years old, making a fuck ton of money. I don't know how that is a good long-term approach to their defensive woes.
And the other guy is Nurse, what was the contract he signed? 9.5 something. He was one of those over $9 million defenseman contracts from this season.
He got $9 million too. That's actually nuts.
Yeah, and
I think he did.
He had some horrible plays defensively.
Yeah,
but they're winning games. We're the only team to beat them so far. And
feels good.
Yeah,
it's always a good pro. And then so after that game, we had a back-to-back, Edmonton then Vancouver. And we ended up beating Vancouver the next night after me and Z both went to the opening night game where they lost 4-3 in a shootout. So, or was it a shootout or overtime?
Shootout,
yeah. So, it's nice to bounce back. We split the season series Vancouver, win 1, lose 1. So, not the worst thing in the world, but coming off a back-to-back, winning that game is huge. So, anytime you can win.
Jones was really good in that game.
Yeah, it was Jones that game. You're right.
Yep.
I mean, anytime you can win a back-to-back game, in my mind, like win both those games, it's a huge boost to your team because normally going into a back-to-back, if like I'm assuming we're gonna go 1-1. I'm not thinking we're gonna go 2-0. I think like as long as we go 1-1, we did our job and we move forward from there. So it's impressive that they figured out a way to get both those wins there, all 4 points.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's not like you're playing like, the Kings and then the Ducks back to back. It's you take it. Well, actually, that would be bad if you went over there. But let's say like the Islanders and the Rangers back to back. You're doing a Western Canada trip and then playing back to back games.
Right
at the beginning of the trip. So,
I mean, it's pretty tough.
It was tough, and in that game, if I remember correctly, they had a bad second period again, like they did against Vancouver in the home opener, but just Vancouver didn't capitalize because Jones was just rock solid in that. And he's Vancouver native, so it was cool to give Carter the game in Edmonton, where he's from nearby, and then Jones got the game in Vancouver, and they both had good wins.
Yeah, that makes sense too. You want Carter to play against the better team in Edmonton, and then Jones to play against Vancouver the night after. So I think that was the right approach by AV, and it definitely panned out.
Yep. Then we had the Calgary game.
Yeah, this game I'm gonna let you take lead. It was my wedding weekend in Rhode Island, and I passed out drunk. We bought a mini Heineken, so I was like 8 beers deep, and I passed out mid first period. So I didn't get to catch one lick of that game.
Yeah, it was a tough game. The last game in the Western Canada trip, the Flyers were tired. You could tell, and Calgary really just wore them down the way they played. They were hard on them. They kept them in, outside towards the boards, and were really in on all the puck battles and winning most of the puck battles. And then there's some shoddy refereeing, some poor penalty calls, I think. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Calgary scored their first 2 goals on power plays. And after that, it was just like some goals in garbage time when the game was over already. And the Flyers just couldn't get anything going offensively. And when they could, Markstrom was outstanding. So it's a hot goalie. It was his 3rd shutout that year so far, which is crazy. And just they just really wore him down with their style of play. Calgary did.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the game too much, but like from what I can gather from it, I think like the 3rd game at 10 o'clock at night. I guess it's 7 o'clock their time, but for every Flyers player, it feels like 10 p.m. It's got to be tiring. They were probably beat at that time, so. It's not like you can blame them. They did not have a good game, so you can blame them for the loss. But you got an excuse there where you won a back-to-back game. You were impressive. You beat a team that's right now, I believe, 9-1 in Edmonton, and then you beat Vancouver after having lost to them the first game of the season. So it's kind of like it's okay to take a loss there. Like there's nothing to be too mad about. So I'm okay with the loss, and it was kind of a successful Flyers After Dark week.
And Calgary had just come back from an East Coast trip where they ran through the Metro and beat every team played and won 6 games in a row.
Yeah,
so
they're like
it's
5-0 against them, and then they beat us.
So it's like we didn't really lose much because every other team in our division pretty much lost a game to Calgary too. So,
and you know what's funny is that I never really thought as Calgary as like a threat or a good team coming into the season. So it's honestly I guess a pleasant surprise that they're actually like a decent team. I don't know how that works for the whole Johnny Gaudreau to Philadelphia thing, but I mean, they kind of look kind of good. Like if I'm a betting man, I might bet on the Flames a little more often.
For the past few years, I've said like the Flames are like the West Coast Flyers, kind of. Like just like expectations, and then they don't get far.
Yeah, they have some good skill players there. Yeah. It's just not coming together.
Yeah, I think they have Sutter now as their coach, and I think he finally is getting them to play the way he wants them to play. And then
he's a good coach.
And they got Markstrom, who's amazing. So as long as you can carry good goalie play and good, they play playoff style. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy we don't have to play them in the playoffs. Maybe they'll be the team that ends up beating Edmonton in round 2.
Yeah, could be.
I can see that. Are they in the same division?
Yep.
They are? Yeah.
Yeah, so
that
they're
makes
the
sense.
Calgary's actually 7-1-3 right now, and that's Monday, November 8th. We're recording this. So, I mean, they've only lost one game in regulation as well as Edmonton.
Well, there you go. We played two of the hottest teams in Canada.
Yeah.
So, 1 win, 1 loss. That's fine. Let's talk about the power play a little bit, because I know the power play kind of struggled during that road trip. I believe that board pass to Coots to JVR was the only goal that I recall happening during that trip.
Yeah, I think that was the only power play goal. I'm trying to remember if there was.
It was an incredible power play
game.
goal, but it really was just like Drew is addicted to the board pass. That's basically what ended up leading to that goal. He loves banking that puck off the backboards, whether it's to him for a goal or it's, to set up a pass and a goal.
Yeah, on their power play, you need to create more offense from behind the net, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really good when they're either using the backboards or G or someone's back there. They always get a good, high danger chance from that.
Yeah.
Because everyone has to turn around. Everyone has to turn their back.
Right, and they're not looking at the guys like the D who could creep in and, get into a scoring position.
Like DJ. Who's the greatest hockey player of all time?
Gretzky, but I was thinking McDavid for a hot sec.
Yeah, you were going to ruin that.
Recent events that happened.
Okay, where was Wayne Gretzky's office?
Behind the net. So was Danny B's, by the way.
Well, that too. But when everyone has to turn around and give respect to the guy that's behind the net, 'cause you don't know if he's going to wrap it around or throw it in front or go back up the boards. You don't know what he's going to do. So I don't know what Michel Therrien's doing with this power play.
I mean, come on, you're speaking to the choir here.
I've
hated that guy for the past 2 years.
And then the other thing is because of how poor they performed on that Canada trip, they took Yandel off the point on the power play and they replaced him with Provorov. They put Yandel on PP2, I believe. And Provorov should not be near the power play at all. The way Yandel snaps the puck around up there at the point, that's what you want to do. You want to keep the puck moving. You want to not give the defense, the penalty killers, a second to figure out where everyone is on the ice. And what Provorov does is he slows the game down, which is good if you're a defenseman in your own defensive zone. You probably want to slow the game down a little bit. But when you're on the power play at the point, that's the last thing you want to do is slow the game down and look for a shot from the point. When we don't even have JVR on PP1 now either. So what's the point of Provorov taking shots from the point if we don't have our best net front guy in front of the net on the first power play? So,
right. I mean, slowing the puck down is it really is counterproductive on a power play. What you want to do is you want that puck moving around the ice, catching the defenseman off guard, moving the players around, trying to create those gaps and those holes so that a guy like G or Yandel, like some of our best playmakers, are able to see those gaps and opportunities and pounce on them. And if you're going to put a guy like Provorov, who historically has been below average on the power play, I think I really don't understand what Michel Therrien's doing. It's going to be a constant, and I guarantee you for the rest of the year we're going to be saying the same thing over and over again. There's so many obvious decisions and choices that can be made that it just doesn't seem like Therrien's making them. And I mean, we're not in the locker room, we're not at practice, so maybe it's not just him, maybe it's a little bit of AV, maybe it's Drew's influence, we don't know. But for now, I'm going to blame Therrien because he has the title as power play specialist or whatever the fuck it is. So it's a joke.
It's just, I mean, and he's so bad at getting the puck through to it. Always gets blocked up top, and sometimes he can't settle the puck on the line and it goes out. And it's just when he does he has a good snapshot if he can get the puck through and the goalie screened or whatever. But if you can't get the puck through and JVR's not in front of the net, you got to keep the puck moving fast at the point there. And that's not the opposite of what Provorov does, like you said.
Right.
So it's just if you want to get people out of position, and when you give them a chance to recover because you take a second to survey and make a decision, they're going to be in all the lanes.
Right. And I think Provorov plays so much time on the ice. Like, why not let him take some time off and sit on the bench during the power play? Like, it should probably be Yandel, and then should probably be like Risto and Sanheim on power play too. Like, let guys like Ellis and Provorov, who are our best defensive players, take the back seat and, fucking drink some water on the bench while the power play does its thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Ellis
they
gets the
wanna be
puck to
out
the
there.
net too, so I kind of would.
Ellis really gets the puck through very well, so I like him on power play too.
Yeah, I agree
But
with that.
I do think that power play 1 should be out. They should do like the Ovechkin thing where they just stay out for 145 of the entire power play.
You're right, they should. To cycle back a little bit, you're talking about G behind the net. I'm not sure why they haven't actually really tried that. The one thing I can say about Tarian that I like is the fact that they've figured out a way to set G up on the right boards and the left boards. I feel like they found a good happy medium there where they can, cycle during the power play, and if G's on the left boards, then he can randomly come over to the right, and it throws the penalty killing team off a little bit. But the one thing that I have noticed is I feel like G is way too much on the point, whereas you're saying behind the net, I think he should be below the hash marks. That's where he needs to be, either below the hash marks or in that corner area. I've noticed they kind of bring him up to the point and he does a loop and where he gets a pass and then he'll shoot it.
Yeah.
Which is fine if he's trying to get a shot off, but when he's trying to create plays, I don't understand why he's at the point there. He should be sinking more down in the corner, dragging the players with him so that he can create opportunities. I just haven't seen that too much.
Yeah, we saw it a few times last year on some beautiful power play goals that I remember, and I think one was out to Jake from behind the net, out to Jake, and then right in front to TK or something like that, or maybe wait out, I don't know, someone in front. And then there was another one where G went behind the net and put it right up in that that Shen Hartnell spot to Farabee, and he just sniped it top left corner over the shoulder of, I think it was either a Rangers or Islanders goalie, and
I think it was the Isles.
Yeah, maybe it was Sorokin.
It doesn't matter. But
whatever.
Continue.
But those were 2 examples of it being successful, and then it's not even they tried it a couple more times and it didn't work. They just went back to doing something else on the left side or on the right side. It's just guys, we just scored 2 power play goals using the back using behind the net. Maybe we should keep using that.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you'd hope that clicks in their head, Michelle's head. But
so
how
much of it? I mean, I don't know if it's much different in the NHL than at lower levels, but how much does a power play coach? How much of it is it that versus the players just being good and deciding on their own what to do on the power play?
Well, me growing up playing hockey, it the coach definitely tries to have influence, and it kind of depends on the coach. My best coaches would have an actual power play system, and we would practice that system most practices. I don't know if you know what the umbrella is at the top, where you have the quarterback, and then you have a left-handed guy on the right side, a right-handed guy on the left side. And when I played, I was usually that right-handed guy on the right side, which I loved because that's exactly where Giroux plays.
The G spot.
So I watched that. I've been watching him play for 8 to 10 years at that point when I was in high school, and it's okay, I know exactly what I'm doing here, and you really do need to have a strategy. If you go into it just hoping the skill of players are going to produce goals, it's not going to work. Obviously, those players are good enough that they're going to pot in a goal or 2 here or there, but if you don't have plays designed, if you don't have a strategy or approach, you're kind of just a step behind in that aspect.
Yeah. There's also a couple years ago, they started the year really successful on the power play. They were scoring a lot of power play goals, and it was all just right off the draw, get it on net as fast as possible. Don't let the defense get into position. They were just getting the pucks to the net so fast, and they were scoring a lot of goals that way. And then they just went back to their regular sit back or barely get the puck into the zone, dump it, and get it cleared. So I don't know. I'd like to see him do more stuff real quick off the draw, like that JVR goal.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can hope for. They gotta They got to stop being comfortable setting back into the old days where Giroux's just on that half boards. Like, it still definitely works, and they should still, cycle that into the power play, but it shouldn't be something that you're setting up every single time. Like, go ahead. Sorry. I hated Giroux on the right side because I'm like, it's his off wing. He doesn't have a stick in the center of the ice. But now that I've thought about it more and seen the approach they're taking, it's like you have to have the other team. What's the word? Be honest. You got to be honest with the other team. You got to not think like the other team can't assume. Exactly. They can't assume that Giroux's just going to sit on that boards and try to create passing plays all the time. You got to change things up, or teams are going to watch video and watch film, and they're going to fuck you up. You're just never going to score.
It's definitely looked better this season.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. It's 100%. It's looked better, but
side.
There's still obvious problems.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask, are we missing Voracek on the right side yet?
I don't think so. I think Giroux has done just as good as Voracek had done there, and I honestly think Coots has done a pretty decent job as well.
Yeah.
He's taken up that mantle and taken on more responsibility on the power play, which you love to see. He's one of our best players. So
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Let's digress from this a little bit. Not off topic, but we were going off on the power play a little bit there. Let's continue on to the recap. Let's talk about the Arizona Coyotes and the Pittsburgh Penguins game. Obviously, we'll start with Arizona. The Flyers won 3-0, but the game was kind of a lot closer than that.
That was a garbage game. They played so bad.
It was real bad.
Surprised they didn't lose.
Yeah. They really did have, I think the Calgary-Arizona-Pittsburgh game was 3 pretty bad games in a row. But they ended up getting, how many points did they get within those games? 3 out of 6, 50% of them.
In Canada?
Yeah. No, the Calgary Coyotes-Pittsburgh. That was like, I consider that in the past 2 weeks. That's probably, those were 3 bad games.
Yeah, 3 points.
They got half the points.
3 out of 6.
It's okay. Could have been better, but yeah.
That Pittsburgh game, they should have won that game too. They also it had every goddamn time, dude. The Penguins play without Crosby and they beat us. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I went to see Eternals, so I only really watched the first period. I checked my phone a couple times, saw Lawton tied it and whatnot, but
dude, you go from the Coyotes team who had Jay Beagle as their first line center, and a goalie I've never heard of who was glove on the other hand, glove on the right hand. That was fucking with the Flyers a lot, and he was playing an amazing game. I was like, oh, this is just a recipe for Flyers. I tweeted that this is a recipe for a Flyers loss. Arizona hasn't won yet. Jay Beagle's their 1C, and there's a goalie I never heard of having an amazing game.
Tends to happen that way.
The Flyers lose that game for every year for the past few years. So
I think I saw that everywhere. Everyone was like, we're going to lose tonight. I was like, oh, come on. You got to have a little hope here.
And Arizona ended up breaking getting their first win against the Kraken. And the tweets after that were great because they were all about Hackstall sitting back with the lead, not being offensive.
Hey,
it's
maybe if Seattle ownership contacted Flyers Twitter, we would have let them know.
Yep.
Not to hire that guy. But to talk about the Pens game a little bit, I know you said we should have won the game, but obviously I didn't watch too much of it, so my words don't have much meaning. But the fact that we were able to tie the game and get that point instead of getting the loss, I kind of give them credit for that because it was a bad hockey game. And yeah, we should have won, but we played bad, and we still kind of, with some grit, found a way to get to overtime and get at least 1 point.
I mean, they were just all the frustrating goals. The first one they scored 16 seconds in, it was a dump in, and then they got it up to the point, shot from the point, guy wide open in the front of the net, tipped it on a drive by the goalie, tipped it in 16 seconds in. Sanheim was at the point for some reason instead of in front of the net. Everyone just got out of position. This game, Sanheim and Ristolainen had a really fucking tough game. Really fucking tough. Then we had the power play goal where Konechny pulled off the JVR move, top shelf. That was sick.
I saw that before going to the movies. That was so fucking filthy. It's insane. And not to mention, Giroud's basically fake slap shot to the pass to him was even more beautiful. The whole play overall was just gorgeous. Like, that's a hockey play and something I'd watch 100 times in a row.
Provorov got the assist on that, though, man. He should stay on the first PP. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, then, Jake Gensel scored on a kind of fluky goal where he tried to shoot it and fanned and then shot it through traffic and it, went... and then Jeff Carter was in front of the net and didn't tip it, but took away Carter Hart's eyes, and it was just, fluky, whatever.
That was with, 17 seconds left, too, or something like that.
No, that one was in the middle of the second period.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Whatever.
Then Lott scored in the third to tie it, and then the Chris Letang wraparound that went in off Carter Hart's pad in OT.
Yeah, I heard that goal wasn't the greatest from Carter, but I mean,
he pushed off. He pushed off to go side to side for the wraparound, and he didn't get his skate to the post. His skate went into the net, so that his pad wasn't.
So it was an awkward thing.
So his pad was in the net. He got it with his pad, but his pad, how the pad curves to the toe, that part was over the line. Mm-hmm. But where the puck initially hit his pad was in the crease still. So it trickled in basically into the part that was over the line. So
that sucks.
It was in by a hair too.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's okay. I'm not going to blame Carter. He's been unreal to start the year.
Oh, he kept them in the game the entire time.
Yeah, I remember seeing the highlights and stuff. He some cross crease saves, incredible, vintage Carter. He just last year is basically a fluke at this point.
I mean, the shots were 38-36, but the Flyers' shots on goal were all just from the point into the chest, from not dangerous positions. There were some dangerous ones where Jari lost his stick and was flailing and just making insane saves without a stick off the shoulder and shit like that. But the Flyers didn't do enough offensively, put enough pressure, get in the high danger areas to win that game. But
it's okay.
It was okay. We go on.
And before we move on to the Capitals game, I just want to I ran a poll on my Twitter. Yeah, so I like that where I was heading. I ran a poll, and it was, of course, I knew going into the poll saying watch the Flyers versus Penguins or go see Eternals opening night. I don't run an MCU Twitter. I run a Flyers Twitter account, so I knew that it was going to lose, and it was 85% watch the Flyers game to go see Eternals opening night. And I did not listen to you 85% of people out there that voted on that. I went and saw Eternals, and it was incredible. So I do not hate that I did that.
I'll admit it. I voted that you watch the Pens game just as a Flyers fan. But in retrospect, I would say you go to the movie.
I'm for people that don't know,
you're a huge Marvel
guy
too.
Fucking love Marvel. And not even that I love Marvel. I fucking love Kit Harington. And I'm not going to not go see this movie opening. I see every Marvel movie opening night just because if you don't, you run the chance of seeing spoilers and, kind of getting told what happens in the movie, so you kind of have to. But this movie especially, I've been waiting for it. I was like, dude, Jon Snow and Robb Stark on the screen together again. I mean...
Is this one on Disney Plus or it's just in theaters? Can I stream it? Because I'll watch it if I can stream it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on Disney Plus at some point, but it's 100% in theaters only right now.
Okay.
I highly suggest going if are you a big Marvel guy?
Yes and no. I haven't watched the couple ones that were straight to Disney Plus or whatever, but I love all the Avengers movies. I've seen all the other Marvel movies. I love the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man series and shit too. But
I'm not a nerd per se, but because I don't read Marvel comics and whatnot, but I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe just because I've grown up. I saw Iron Man when I was 10 years old in 08. So, I mean, I've been a Marvel fan my whole life, and Game of Thrones. Yeah. So getting to see Kit, a big role again. He hasn't done anything really since Game of Thrones ended. And then obviously the MCU hit him up, and he can't say no. He's going to be the Black Knight. perfect role.
There has I like the fact that there's like a ton of continuity between all the movies and how they all, how they position them all in the universe.
Yeah.
And shit. Like I'm a fan of that, how they all tie together.
It's so awesome. And then some people hate that though, because you can't just watch one movie, because like there's a lot of like hidden context
then like
in them.
the next Ant-Man movie, you'd have to see all the Avengers movies and shit like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever, however order it's in.
If you go see Ant-Man Quantumania and you don't know who Kang the Conqueror is, you're going to be a bit confused.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch the Loki series.
Exactly. That's the bet. By the way, we're about to move on to Caps. I want to talk too much MCU, because some of you guys might be like, shut the fuck up, like we don't give a shit about superheroes. But Loki, best thing I've seen from Marvel since Endgame. It was so good. But I digress, and let's move on. All right. So the other day, the Flyers played the Caps, and this is the last game before tomorrow night, as you guys are listening.
Well,
they beat the Caps.
Wednesday night they'll play the Maple Leafs.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 3-day gap between games. I guess this is our last 3-day break for a long time, which we'll talk about later on. But so the Flyers beat the Caps 2-1. It was a really tight, well-fought victory. Martin Jones, incredible once again. And yeah. Z.
The Flyers, I really like the way they played in this game. Good to see them come back and play that way after the fucking shitters they put up against the Penguins, Coyotes, and Calgary. They fought for every inch of ice. They were on the forecheck. They were playing physical. They were snapping the puck around. There was a lot of offensive zone time. All 4 lines were buzzing. They kept Ovechkin off the score sheet, kept their power play off the score sheet, the Caps power play. And Martin Jones played amazing, just solid, in position, just not fazed by anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Flyers Twitter owes Martin Jones a sincere apology at this point.
It's been 3 solid games. We don't have a reason to say anything ill of him right now. So we'll see how the season goes.
I won't say anything ill of him the rest of the year. Like, even if he has a bad game here or there, he's already proved himself that
he can play well.
He can be a fucking backup goalie for the Flyers. One thing I will say is that this whole Martin Jones thing that's happened, like I think Martin Jones was the one guy that we signed this offseason that a majority of people were like, this is horrible. Why did we do this? And blah, blah, blah. It's very apparent to me now that there's a reason that all of us, everybody on Flyers Twitter and every Flyers fan out there that has their own fucking opinion, is not educated or smart enough or have like the experience necessary to say whether a deal or a signing or whatnot is good or bad. Because clearly most of the people are wrong about this. Like, Martin Jones still had the talent. He just needed a change of scenery. And it seems like, hopefully for the foreseeable future, at least for the rest of the year that he's on this team, he's a pretty fucking good goaltender still.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I wanted Braden Holtby in the offseason. And when they signed Jones, I was like, but now I think Jones is a better fit than Holtby would have been.
Me too.
The way he's played so far.
The thing with Jones is he's not flashy. He just looks like he's always there. Like, he's always just, he's taking up the shot. He's not like, I feel like sometimes you'll see Carter like kind of throw his body and do the crazy shit. I don't think Martin Jones plays that way nearly as much. I think he relies on his positioning a lot more.
The way I would describe it, like he didn't flinch. Like, he was just like there in front, the puck's in the crease right in front of him, and he was just big body there covering all the holes somehow. And not like flailing and moving his legs back. Like, he wasn't moving. Like, he was just boom, poised right there, like, shoot it at me, I dare you.
Exactly. And a goalie that's not confident, you're not going to see things like that. You're going to see him kind of try to, like, throw his leg out there, or try to do the extra, the little extra move or push to try to make a save. Kind of like how Carter was doing all of last year with our horrible, horrible defense.
Yeah.
So it's it's such a relief because last year we had the worst goalie tandem in the league, and now it looks like we might have one of the best goalie tandems in the league. So a complete 360 or 180 from last year.
Yeah, I saw some other people were joking like if Martin Jones and Carter Hart win the Jennings this year.
That'd be sick. You know what I would really love? If Carter Hart won the Vezina.
That would be wild.
You know why? Not just because I'm a Flyers fan. Because
you bet on it. I forgot.
Yeah, remember?
I forgot you bet on it. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 to win 850. Let's go.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty fucking good.
Back to the Caps game, though. The opposite performance from the second pairing as the Pens game. Pens game, Sanheim and Ristolainen were fucking horrible. They were out of position. They were passing it to fucking no one to the other team. And complete 180 in the Caps game. They were the best pair.
Yeah, dude, I was going to say that earlier on, but I was like, might as well wait till we start talking about the Caps game because you mentioned how bad they were. I was like, it's crazy how they went from that bad to that good. Hopefully that's not a continuing theme, but
yeah, hopefully they can build off of how they played in this Caps game. I mean, Ristolainen was injured the first couple games. He's a new player on this team, has to get used to all the systems and forget everything that Buffalo ingrained in him. You know what I mean? So I think we give him more time, like way more time than people or some people were not giving him enough time at the beginning of the season. It still is the beginning of the season, but his first couple games he was, making some bad decisions with the puck or going out of position to take a hit, but there was also a lot of good things he was doing, like getting penalties, getting us on the power play and not taking penalties, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting penalty calls.
I mean,
and drawing, that's the word I'm looking for. Drawing penalties and using his body and, defending players after the whistle. And there's a play in the Caps game where Jones made a save and a real good save, and someone flew by the crease, and Ristolainen didn't even hesitate, just fucking cross-checked them out of the way, after the whistle,
not even worrying about the new cross-check penalties that they're calling every day. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not and have not been the biggest Risto guy in the world, and I'm not a hater. I don't think he's bad or anything. I just don't think he is what everybody hopes and thinks he will be, worth the first round pick. But I mean, I still believe in him, and I still think he's a very good top four defenseman, and it's slowly starting to show that he has those skills and capabilities to be that guy, and I hope that continues.
It depends how you value a first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough because any first round pick can turn into the next fucking stud, but to me, first round picks for the most part, you're waiting 3 years before they're even playing. So to get a guy that's already set in stone in the NHL, 26 years old, I think it was a good deal. I'm not hating on the deal or anything. I just am thinking in the long run, who knows if we're even going to sign him this offseason.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I was going to say. His contract expires, so that's why huge. It can be tough to give up the first round pick. If he was on term and making less money than he currently makes.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to pay him as much as he's making right now for his next contract.
Will he take the pay cut?
Yeah, it's a big if. I don't know if he will. I think you'd at least have to pay him $6 million a year, which kind of sucks, but I feel like that's what might happen.
For another defenseman.
Yeah. The thing is, you can't because we're already gonna be a playoff team, and we just can't. We might end up having to we might just have to end up eating, losing him and the first round pick in the offseason. That's worst case scenario. I don't think that'll happen, but that's worst case scenario right now.
I think he'll resign.
I hope so. It all depends on his season, which as of right now, he probably would get re-signed, I would think. Yeah. So, all right, we went through all the games. Let's take a more holistic approach. So the Flyers are 6-2-2 to start the season. So their first 10 games, 6-2-2, and they've basically done it for the most part without Hayes and Ellis, and Wade Allison, a nice bottom six role player on the team. So, what do you think about that 6-2-2 start? I think it's pretty fucking good.
I think it's really fucking good.
Couldn't be better. I don't think it's kind of hard to be better than that.
I think that's really fucking good considering Ellis is our first pair defenseman, and he's played 3 out of 10 games this year.
Yeah, and Hayes being our 2C, playing 0. When is he coming back, by the way? I believe it actually is a lot sooner than many may think. I believe it's early December is when people are thinking he's coming back.
I read earlier.
Even November?
I thought it was could be as early as next week.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I don't know. I may have just made that up.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to wear my Kevin Hayes retro jersey more often.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's going to be such a big boost to this team. I mean, they're going to ease him in, but...
Yeah, he'll probably start third line, you would assume, right? And then you ease him in from there, give him a nice 12 to 15 minutes a game. Maybe a couple penalty kill shifts because that's where he thrives.
Yeah.
And then, as he gets 4 or 5 games in. The one thing, I was actually talking to my dad about the Flyers the other day. He was talking about how, didn't Giroux have core muscle surgery at some point? Or he had some kind of surgery. And he kind of had a slow year. Was that the 56-point year?
Yeah, him and Ghost both had core muscle surgery that offseason.
So, yeah,
and then
I
the
think
following year was the...
breakout. 102 points.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was
It may have been even a year in between.
Yeah, that was when people were like, oh, Giroux's falling off, he stinks. And then the next year he just shoves in everyone's face. So where I'm going with this is should we assume that Kevin Hayes might not have the greatest of years coming off core muscle surgery? Or do we think he's going to be the same old Kevin Hayes?
I mean, I think everyone's different, but he did have 2 surgeries this offseason.
Right, yeah. So that's big. The one thing I can say is that maybe possibly his brother is motivation for him this year, where he's going to give it his all and dig deeper than he normally would because he's got that emotional aspect in his game right now.
I have no idea, but I just don't. I'm not gonna expect him to look fast. Yeah. I think he'll still create offense and be good defensively, but I'm just not expecting him to get a bunch of breakaway goals. You know what I mean?
I agree, and I don't think I know Philly fans love to be judgmental about their players, but I don't think I'm not going to any shit talk on him will be completely unwarranted, and I will shit talk back to those pieces of shit that try to talk shit on him this year. That I 100% guarantee you. It does not matter to me how well he plays. He's probably going to be completely fine as a 2 or 3C for the rest of the year, I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. It'll be good for Broussard too, to go to once Hayes is good enough to play on the second line.
In what way? Just to kind of give him a better he's playing against lesser players when he's on the ice, third line against third line kind of thing. Or
even I don't know if they'll put him at the wing. I don't know what they'll do. If they want to keep Lawton at center, I don't know. Lawton, I personally think is better at wing, but Broussard hadn't been playing center in Arizona too. So
it might come down to the face-offs at that point.
Yeah,
it's who's better at face-offs. That would be my decision. But at the same time, actually, I'm backtracking on myself. Even if someone's better at face-offs than the other, maybe that person's better at being a center, being in the center positions in defensive zone and stuff, that, hey, you take the face-offs, I'll play the center position. So it could go really either way.
And if they play the same line, Lawton and Broussard, they can, one gets kicked out, the other one hops in. It's not a big deal. Yeah. They're both decent at face-off. So you just got to really commend Broussard and especially Justin Braun for the job they've quietly been doing.
And Sealer,
for
honestly.
Hayes and Ellis.
Sealer, too.
I have been a huge fan of him. I think he's kind of the first couple games, I was happy with his play, but I mean, he's been playing 11 minutes, whatever, but I think that third pair had made some bad decisions in a couple of the games in that last trip. So
fair, but he is a 7th ace defenseman. I think he did exactly what you'd expect him to do. So I'm not. I don't have too much too many negative things to say about his play.
I
think
agree
he
with
stepped
that
up when
too.
he needed to.
Yeah, and I just think his effectiveness kind of died down a little bit in the past few games. There are people who were like, Steelers season, baby, and like huge fans of him, which is insane.
Which tends to happen when a guy has a sick game / basically a sick fight is what he did. Flyers fans will rally behind a guy like that every time. Yeah,
but I mean, we want to touch on Justin Braun a little bit. He's having a good year offensively, actually, putting the points up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's been he's the perfect sixth defenseman in my mind, and especially when Ellis has been out, stepping up and playing with Provorov. He did that a lot last year, and it kind of wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but now that he isn't our permanent first line right winger or right defenseman, it's kind of a nice change of pace to see him when he's performing well.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple years ago, he was probably my least favorite defenseman. Yeah. And I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but like he's been doing a great job filling in on that first pair.
I think the team loves him too, so he's a guy that I like having on this team.
He's really good. I mean, like if you actually focus in on his play, which I sort of have been doing, I like to sometimes concentrate on like one defensive or offensive player during the game.
That's what the smartest people in the world do. I love doing that at the game. Yeah, because it's a lot harder when the screen isn't following your player.
That's true. Yeah.
But when you're at the game, I love to just watch like TK, see what he does on the ice. Pick a player, watch his entire shift. That's I mean, no casual fan does that, but like people like you and I, like that's the stuff we'll do because that's like more entertaining to us to actually see like the decisions a player is making like every shift. It's really cool.
Yeah. And he's just been real solid, making solid defensive plays. And Provorov has too. And that's what you want from your defenseman. Like, I don't care if Provorov has 2 points or whatever. Like, play defense. That's what your job is. Like, if the forwards can't score, that's a bigger issue.
I could care less if Provorov gets any points.
I know.
To me, he is a incredible defensive hockey player that will give you like 40 points a year.
Yeah, and he's not that like number one guy because he doesn't put up like all the goals. I mean,
exactly. He's not Hedman. He's not going to put up 70 points a year. He's going to put up maybe 40. And if he does that,
but he's going to be amazing defensively.
Exactly.
It's like if they had a Norris Trophy and then like a defensive defenseman trophy.
I don't know why they don't do that.
Because they do with Selke and all the other fucking awards.
And then defenseman, there's only one.
Yeah, and it goes to the guy who has the most points usually.
Right. Offense, they have like every little variation of the type of player.
They should have assists.
Claude would win that a lot.
I don't think he leads the league in assists now.
But he doesn't have to lead the league. Do you mean like the assist leader gets it kind of like the Rocket Richard?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. They probably should.
And what's the one for most points? Is that the Ted Lindsay?
Ted Lindsay, I believe, is the MVP voted on by the players.
Okay. Fuck, what's the other one then? Whatever.
And it's usually the same guy that wins the Hart Trophy.
Yes. Anyway, back to Justin Braun and Provorov. Justin Braun had 6 points, a goal and 5 assists last year in 53 games. Do you know how many he has so far this year?
No.
He has...
Did you say 6 goals and 5 assists? Sorry.
No, a goal and 5 assists, 6 points total in 53 games. In 10 games played, he has a goal and 6 assists, 7 points total.
He's already surpassed it.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
7 points in 10 games from Justin Braun.
Hey, and he doesn't even have to be an offensive guy. Like, he's not that guy. He like if we're playing Chell right now, I'm assuming his role is defensive defenseman.
Yeah. And back to Brassard too. Like I said, filling in for Hayes. 10 games played, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Like, this is a guy signed for veteran league minimum on our team. You know what I mean? Putting up 7 points in 10 games. I mean, that line died down a little bit offensively in some games 4 to 8. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like in the middle there. But what else do you want from the guy for what he's making and his age and shit?
He's been awesome. And didn't Brassard he got fined 2,000
Yeah, for punching
for,
Hathaway from the bench. Like, that's who else was going to do that on the Flyers team? Maybe that's some shit Gudas would do. But like besides that, like
I loved it. I didn't even know that was what it was for. I was like, he got fined $2,000 for fucking sniping Vanacek top right.
That was a snipe too.
It was.
And that was a high to low play. Atkinson from behind the net into the slot. He drew two guys over, got it into the slot, and Brassard's wide open.
It's incredible. I mean, we've been so good so far this year.
I've thought before that this team was deep, like in other iterations of it, but like this is the deepest we've been.
Yeah. Remember last year we were like 8-2, and we were like, we're not playing well.
Oh yeah,
we're
like
still
we were
8-2.
So bad, but like,
do you know that's the Rangers right now? I think the Rangers have a good record, but their like goals, their plus minus in goals is like -8, and they're 6-3-2 or something like that. So
they've been giving up a lot of goals. Is it their defense? Because Shesterkin's like
Shesterkin. So yeah, I mean, for you listeners that are always listening to the episodes, I talk about my roommate all the time. He's a Rangers fan, so I watch the Rangers all the time. He's good, and my roommate will never listen to this podcast because all I talk about is the Flyers. So I'll never tell him. But Shesterkin is good. So he's the reason they're probably 6-3 and whatever the fuck they are right now. It's he's a good goaltender.
6-3-3.
Yeah. And he's probably better than Carter right now, but he won't be better than Carter by the time Carter's his age. I believe Carter's 2 years younger than him. So
yeah, and he's came from Russia, played in the KHL, one of those like 25-year-old rookies or whatever.
Exactly. So he has got a lot of experience. And I think Carter has more NHL experience than him, and he's 2 years younger, which is fucking crazy. But yeah. Why don't you want to move on? I feel like I got 52 minutes right now on our time right now.
Yeah.
We have been talking about the recap for 52 minutes. Holy shit. All right. Let's turn to a fun topic. I call this topic the Drip Gods and the Birds game. So, if you don't know, the other day on Instagram, Nate Thompson posted a couple Instagram stories of all the Flyers players, wearing their like trippiest, coolest clothes possible to go out to a team dinner. And there were some characters in some unreal outfits. I'll start with you, Z. Name a couple of your favorite outfits and tell me why.
Yeah, so basically what happened, they were going to team dinner and they decided like see who can dress the drippiest, and it got pretty competitive. I'm trying to pull up the pictures now. So who did I like the best? That's tough. I mean, I think Coots wins.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't expect it from like I remember hearing in interviews way back, like this is me when Simmons was on the team, or when fucking Michael Del Zotto would do the thing where you interview people in the locker room and shit. But everyone says that Coots is like the funniest motherfucker. And
is he just like a quirky guy? I think he might be.
I think he's quiet to like the public eye. Like you don't see it from his like interviews and shit like that. But like when he's with the boys, he's just like the funniest dude.
Dude, has Spin Chicklets gotten him on before? Because I feel like that's a guy that need to get on there. More
guys from the, I mean, they did G Voracek and JVR.
Yeah.
And Hayes, obviously.
Mm-hmm. But you're right. I think Coots definitely had the best outfit. I for one, even after the confirmation that was Coots, and like I like was zooming into the pictures, and I was just like, it just doesn't even look like him. Like I guess the mask he had on made it harder to like see his like features and like confirm it was him, but like it just did not look like him. I thought it was Nick Seeler for the longest time dressed up like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just could not tell. But yeah,
I mean, it was tough. It was a video, and it was he was just going over everybody. Yeah, it was like the yellow, blue, purple like patch bandana pattern like jacket with the yellow pants and the white and blue sneakers.
Absolute
and like the
fire.
pink hat.
Yeah, him and Farabee were matching a little bit. Farabee a lot more bland. I think it was just yellow. He kind of looked like a Teletubby out there. But
I expected more from young Beezer in the contest
did too.
Of who's the drippiest. Sanheim even did like a decent job, but he was kind of just basic, like blue tracksuit, like the fucking fanny pack across the chest and like a bucket hat.
My personal favorite, I think I tweeted about it too. I loved Yandel's outfit because he just looked like like the felt like Guido jumpsuit,
the like velour jumpsuit.
Yeah, and he
it was purple.
I should have made the joke about it, but I didn't. I will now. He looked like the dude that dude that's like, oh yeah, a gabagoo. You know that guy? Remember that? It was like a big meme, that video. He literally looked exactly like that. And at one point in Nate Thompson's video, he kind of even did like the side to side move with his like body to like, it was funny.
The Sopranos guy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. That cracked me up. Like amongst all those outfits, I was just crying because that's Yandel in a nutshell. That's his personality. That's probably how he acts all the time off camera. Just goofing around doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and then did you pick out Oscar's outfit?
Yeah,
he seemed like he didn't get the memo.
I don't know though. I think he looked sick. He looked like an emo. He looked
it was a cool outfit, but they're doing like it's not drippy. He looks like a
That's true. He's Swedish. Maybe he doesn't understand.
A chick going to Warped Tour for the first time.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to a nice Metallica.
He's wearing a Slayer shirt. I mean, it's pretty basic. I mean, it was a cool outfit, but like
he looked cool.
Drippy.
I'll give him that. Like he could have went to the bar in that outfit, and he would have looked. He
did have like a cross bag thing going on too, but that could just be Europeans. I don't know, man.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, also G and Atkinson tried slightly harder, but he still looked like a fucking dad. Giroux looked like a dad, like so much like a dad. It was so funny. He was wearing like jeans and a gray pullover sweatshirt. It was so funny.
Yeah, I mean they are dads and they're older guys, but Atkinson, that's not him trying. That's his just coat. Like if you look at the pictures of them coming to like the plane or getting off the plane, like he just wears that pea coat. So I don't even think that was him dressing up. I think he was just wearing a coat to dinner. Because it was cold outside.
That's true. It's like, you probably got the memo from Nate Thompson, like, all right, everybody, wear your trippiest outfit. And he was probably like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, trippiest outfit.
Trippiest? I think it was drippiest.
Drippiest, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's late.
All good.
But yeah.
And then the on Sunday, a bunch of the guys went to the Eagles game. They had a little section together in the corner end zone.
Yeah, it looked like a fun time. I immediately thought of the video from Voracek and Giroux singing, walking up the steps when I saw those pictures. It's just a hilarious, iconic moment.
It looked fun, though. Trying to get into the game.
Yeah, that was before Giroux was married, so he was off the rails a little bit still.
Yeah, slapping cops on the ass and shit.
Yeah. Vintage Giroux.
Yeah,
the reason I love him.
It's just good to see all the guys get together and get the camaraderie going.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, anytime you can get the team to go out and do that kind of stuff, whether it's, I honestly thought it was like a Halloween thing at first, then I realized it was the drippiest outfit. And stuff, but like anytime you can do that thing, like kind of shit, it's good for morale, it's good for team chemistry. It just, it's anytime you can get together and do that kind of stuff, it helps the team out.
And you forgot they really missed that shit last year. They
exactly.
couldn't do that at all. They couldn't even hang out in the same hotel room after the game.
I think, was it last year or was it the year before? There was a hilarious video of all of them dressed up on Halloween. I think that might have been the year we went to the round robin. Remember, like, TK was dressed up as Mr. Incredible. I think they might have been at Hayes's.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think
apartment.
that would have been Hayes's and AV's first year when we went to the second round.
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago. So that was the first time we've actually, like, I love seeing that part of these players because this stuff happens. Like, they're human beings. They go out and have fun. I just like that, like, we're getting to see it a little bit because we haven't seen that in a long time. And I like, fans always love seeing that stuff. It makes them, like,
humanizes them.
Yeah, it makes them more personable, and it makes you get to know them just a little bit more, which I really love. And I think I remember that the video I was referring to of them on Halloween. I think there was like a bong in the background or something too, which I thought was hilarious.
Was
just
there?
Like, I think so. I could be wrong, but I think I remember there being. I think it was like right next to Voracek or something. Not to call out Voracek or anything. I respect everybody that likes to get a little high now and then.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to get suspended though.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go into the around the league because there's some big deals went down.
Let's do it.
So the Jack Eichel sweepstakes, who won?
I think Vegas won.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have. I mean, if you know exactly what they got, I believe it was Peyton Krebs, Tuck, a first and like a third, something like that.
And it was the first was top 10 protected.
Which, I mean, but is Vegas ever gonna be in the top 10 picks?
I don't know. They're pretty bad so far this year.
Yeah, they are.
They have not been playing well. This is their first down year. They're 500. They're 6-6 in 12 games.
But come on, it's the first 10 games
games
of the year. They'll be fine.
They have a lot of injuries up front. Nolan Patrick's out.
Yeah, he's one of their best centermen. But yeah, I remember we talked about it the night before that deal went through. There was rumors that I think Kevin Weeks tweeted out about Matthew Tkachuk being involved from the Calgary Flames side of things, which, if true, which I'm led to believe it 100% was not true, because if it was, they would have said yes. If Matthew Tkachuk is offered in any way, shape, or form, whether he has a year left on his deal or not, I'm accepting that deal. Because worst case scenario, they get Eichel off their books for $10 million, and they have a chance to sign one of the best young players in the game right now in Matthew Tkachuk. Do you think that was real? Because I don't.
No, I think I heard after that. I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor was Kevin Weeks. What did he tweet? It was Tkachuk, first round pick, a upcoming first round pick, a former first round pick, and 2 prospects.
I think the former might have been Sean Monahan.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably. That's worlds better than the Vegas deal. So one thing to note is Kevin Weeks and Kevin Adams, the GM of Buffalo, played together. And what I heard was that Adams leaked this to Weeks on purpose, and Weeks got it out. Not like it was; they just made it up to put pressure on Vegas. Not that Kevin Weeks made it up, but Kevin Adams made it up.
That makes a lot of sense, and the fact that Vegas kind of bent on it, and the deal happened overnight after that was leaked, that makes the most sense to me, and I would believe that to be true.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere that Calgary is pissed off about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? It has nothing to do with them. It doesn't hurt them at all.
Yeah, but it's just, disingenuous a little bit, and then everyone starts asking Tkachuk if he wants to be traded and shit. Now everyone's like, Tkachuk's available. Like, they're going to re-sign him.
You would hope. Actually, I don't hope. I hope he goes to free agency.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. I'd rather him stay in the West. I'd change my mind. I change my mind all the time over stupid shit like that. I don't want Matthew Tkachuk in the East. Stay out.
He's not coming to the Flyers, so stay in Calgary.
Yeah, please. The only guy from Calgary that'll come to Philly is Johnny. That's about it.
Come home, Johnny.
Please come home.
Yeah, so Eichel's traded. He can get his surgery. I believe he's getting it this week. And then I don't know what I think he's out 6 months or something like that. So he's probably still going to miss the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, we actually should mention he had an exclusive interview with Spit and Chicklets that was released right after the trade, pretty much.
Yeah.
Where one of the things he was quoted saying is that he told Buffalo that he would play for them if they just let him have the surgery he wanted. So it's it just makes Buffalo look so bad. They're honestly a joke of an organization right now, just with the way they've handled this entire thing.
Well, no, if you think about it, it makes sense because they were blowing it up anyway. They're not going to keep him if they can get assets for him now, and they're having an argument about it anyway. It's stupid. Yeah, they should have let him get the fucking surgery, but I think they would have probably tried to trade him anyway, no matter what.
But imagine if he just got the surgery, he probably would have been ready to play already for the season.
And they could have got more for him. Yeah,
they could have got more for him. It was so long ago that this shit happened that he would have been ready by now to play.
They didn't want him to get the surgery because because then it's the worry of the surgery didn't go well or something happened because it's never been done to an NHL player before, that now he's damaged goods and we can't get anything for him. So I think that's why they had to trade him before.
I guess, but I don't.
That's the thinking. I don't agree with it, but I'm assuming that that's their line
I
of
don't
thinking.
understand it, and it's a current problem in the world right now. Just fucking trust the people that do that shit. They're fucking doctors for a reason.
Well, no,
Just
I mean
listen
the Sabres doctors didn't want him to get the surgery. The Sabres doctors didn't. His personal doctor did. Yes.
Fine. I mean, doctors can be wrong.
Yeah.
Or doctors can have different opinions. And clearly Eichel's going to trust his guy versus whoever the fuck Buffalo picks, you know?
Yeah, so he's going to come back just in time for the playoffs, and maybe Vegas will eliminate Edmonton in round 2. We got to get one of them right.
Yeah. It's either the Jets, the Flames, or the Knights that are going to eliminate the Oilers in round 2. We're not sure which, but it'll be one of the 3.
Place your bets now.
Actually, talking about Eichel not come back to playoffs, could the Vegas Golden Knights be this year's Tampa Bay Lightning with $10+ million on IR?
Yeah, don't they still have to move? Are they good now? Did they move some money around, or they had the cap space?
I think they're good.
Okay.
I think they
had to
good.
be for the trade to go through, right?
But when Eichel comes back, obviously, if it's before the playoffs, something has to be done. I think that's crazy that the cap doesn't exist in the playoffs, by the way. Why?
I mean,
I guess there's a very small
shit.
chance that like teams can take advantage of that. Obviously, the only chance is if like a guy like Eichel is injured for 6+ months or Kucherov out for 6 to 8 or whatever.
The only way you get away with it is LTIR. That's the only loophole, and Tampa Bay found it.
Yeah, they didn't find it.
Well, not found it. They exploited. They
exposed an issue.
It. Yeah. So I mean, like, because you have to sign the guy by trade deadline to be on your, you know what I mean?
And I don't blame them one bit. I'm a big Brady guy because he loves to cheat, but I love cheaters because they win. I don't know if I worded that the best way possible, but I think if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Here's a better example. It's known for a fact that Claude Giroux loves to cheat on face-offs. I love him for that. If you're not going to try to cheat to win the face-offs, what are you doing? If they're going to allow you to get away with shit, do it.
If you do it every face-off, they can't kick you out of the circle every time. It's like the fucking Islanders when they interfere. Like, they're not going to call interference penalties every single time, so they interfere every goddamn play.
Right. And if you're the center iceman and you're doing that stuff and you do get kicked out and your name's Claude Giroux, guess what? You got a really good face-off man in Sean Couturier that's going to take the face-off instead. So what's it really hurt, you know? It's a genius move, and it's so smart that I respect the fuck out of it.
I just, real quick, I looked up the Golden Knights on Cap Friendly, and I was like, oh, they have $16 million in cap space. That's not bad. And then I looked at their LTIR. They have Eichel at $10 million, Mark Stone's out at $9.5 million, and Pacioretty's out at $7 million, all on LTIR.
Oh, my goodness. That's their top 3 players.
Yeah.
Other than Pietrangelo, of course.
And Nolan Patrick. He's on injury reserve. Yeah.
For all.
So I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do because they have $16 million and they got $26.5 million on LTIR.
If those guys are out for a while, obviously Eichel will be, but the other guys too. You're right. They might struggle, and they might have to fight their way into the playoffs. I think they'll make it anyway. They're kind of a team that's just like, it doesn't matter how we get in, just get in, and we'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's change topics to the New York Rangers. They recently signed Adam Fox to a long-term deal. I believe it was 7 years, $9.5 million per. My opinion on this, I think that's just something the Rangers had to do. I laugh at it though, because they fucked themselves, and I feel like cap-wise, we talked about it last episode, I think, they're going to be screwed. Not screwed, but they're really going to have to make moves in order to stay compliant within the next couple of years because they got a lot of guys that they need to sign, and it's good that they got this out of the way. And 9.5, yeah, it's a lot, But for a guy that just won the Norris Trophy, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Fox, but he did win the Norris Trophy his rookie year. So, I mean, I guess that's good. Deserving, especially if you look at all the defensemen, Werenski, Jones, McCarr, and Nurse that got over $9 million. And did Charlie McAvoy get up there, or was he less? He was also 9 something, right?
Yeah, I think he was 9 flat.
And then Heiskanen was like 8. So you knew he was going to get that much money, and we talked about it, like you said in a previous episode, where like they're gonna have to match that 9.5 range, and they did. They did a year early, I guess. So
yeah, and I guess they only did the 7 instead of 8. How old is the guy? Does that leave him available to be an RFA still, or I think that should take him over.
They bought 1 year of UFA.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Rangers, I'm Rangers fan. I'm completely okay with it, but I wish they could have talked him down to like 8.75 or something like that. Like if you're trying to build a championship roster and you really, give your best pitch to the guy, I feel like you could possibly have got, like if you gave him the 8th year, don't you think you could have gotten down to 9 or 8.75? I'd think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a really good player that just came off the best year of his life. I think he was probably looking for that bag because, like, worst case scenario, maybe he isn't that type of player for the foreseeable future, like long term.
Yeah. Sorry, I was wrong. They bought 3 years of UFA.
3? Okay, yeah, so he's got it. He's like 24, 25 then. 24.
Yeah, he is.
Because UFA, yeah, okay. He's a year younger than I.
Yeah. So then the last 4 years of the deal, he has no movement, modified, no trade, modified, no trade.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah,
standard.
He's worth that contract, I think. But it was just like, how are they going to make their cap work? They got Panarin at 11.6. They have Kreider still at 6.5 for the next 10 years or some shit. They have Zibanejad
5 years.
Zibanejad gets 8.5 next year.
Zibby's the worst one of all. We're Zibby haters on this podcast. We fucking hate that guy. That was the worst deal I've ever seen.
That's not their worst contract. Their worst contract is Jacob Trouba at $8 million for the next 4 years.
Forgot about that one too.
$8 million the next 4 years, and then they just signed Fox for 9.5. So it's just like when they got Keandre Miller.
Who's better?
They have 2 more years of him before he goes to RFA.
Answer this. Is Adam Fox and Trouba better than the Ellis Provorov combo?
No, just because Trouba's not that good.
And we have our combo for $5-6 million less. So
yeah, I also think that New York's defense is their where they're weak.
Fair, yeah.
So
yeah.
Hopefully they run into cap issues and then they suck for the next 10 years.
We can only hope. Yeah,
waiting for the Penguins to fucking do that shit too.
I want the Rangers to be good. The thing is, I want to win the Stanley Cup, but I don't want it to be a breeze. I don't want to be the LA Kings and just sweep through the league and just win it easily. I want there to be challenges and adversity.
You want the first LA Kings Cup where they went to Game 7 in every series?
Yes. And they came back.
They were the 8th seed and went to Game 7 in every series? Yeah.
They basically did the Flyers 2010
except
in their year. Except they won.
Let's not talk about it. Yeah. So while we're on the top of that Rangers team, though, they they were on the ice for one of the goal of the year candidates.
Dude,
unfortunately,
back-to-back games, highlight reel goals. The Matthew Tkachuk through the legs goal.
He's done that a couple times now.
Yeah,
they got roasted by Calgary. No pun intended. And then do you want to walk us through the McDavid goal?
Yeah. Okay. I'll walk it through from my standpoint. So I'm coming home from the casino in Philly, Rivers Casino on the waterfront. I come back home. My roommate's watching the Rangers game. He's a Rangers fan, obviously. They're up by 1. few minutes left in the game or whatever. And I'm sitting there drunk watching it. And he's just like, dude, they are hammering it on us. We are going to lose this game. They're going to tie this and they're going to win. And little do you know, 30 seconds later, McDavid cycles out of the zone, does that little loop, and then just absolutely manhandles all 4 players in front of him. There's nothing else to say other than it is easily the goal of the year. There's going to have to be something insane to come after that to be better, because like he absolutely destroyed him. The left stick threw the guy's stick back over to him and then deking the goalie out, that entire move, and it looked effortless. That's just who Connor McDavid is at this point. You can't even be surprised. I'm not. I'm just not surprised anymore. That's literally what he does on a day-to-day basis. He literally looks like he's playing in fast forward, and I know everybody says that term, like he plays in fast forward when everyone's in normal speed, but he does.
It's ridiculous.
You watch these replays and you're in awe. Like he's like you mentioned earlier in the episode, who is the best player of all time, and I hesitated for about 5 seconds because I was thinking about this goal and how fucking good this guy is, because Connor McDavid, without a doubt, is the greatest hockey player to ever touch the ice. It does not matter how many goals, how many records Gretzky has. McDavid is so skilled. He is so good and so fast, and he's got the best hands, shot, whatever.
It's scary.
There's nobody. I don't think anybody will ever be as good as this guy. And yeah, maybe 20, 30, whatever years from now, we're going to have some phenom that comes in the league and we're going to be like, oh, this guy's the best ever. But I truly don't believe it. I don't think anybody can be this good.
McKinnon is close to him too, but he's not anywhere near. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's still fast and has a crazy shot. And
McKinnon to me isn't even on the same pedestal. I don't know.
I think
he's a step behind.
Top 3 player.
He is. He's a top 3 player, but
that's what I'm saying.
Connor is the alpha.
Then who's the second closest? And we can say Crosby, but
it is McKinnon. McKinnon is the second closest to him.
I'm saying he's the second closest, and it's not even close though.
But it's it's alpha then beta, and McKinnon's the beta. I mean,
and if you watch the replay on that, he just went straight through the middle. It's not like he even
he basically said, I'm going to take care of this myself.
Yeah, but if you watch his trajectory, it's just straight up the middle, and he just stick handles around everybody.
Listen to this, ready? All the MCU fans will love this. He was literally like Thanos. He was like, fine, I'll do it myself. And he just goes in and fucking torches every player on their team.
You know what I think of every time is just super bad. He's the fastest kid alive.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I mean, what else can we say about Connor McDavid, though? I wish he was on the Flyers. That's really it.
Yeah, he never will be, but
he'll never be on another team, I don't think.
Yeah, probably not.
If Edmonton lets him leave, they're the dumbest people in the world.
Did you hear the post game too? He's just like, they asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I'm paid a lot of money. It's what I'm expected to do.
That's the cockiest shit I've ever heard. What an absolute animal. I wish, dude, if I could trade places with anybody, it'd probably be him. The amount of pussy that guy probably gets. Probably doesn't even have to try. I'm sure most athletes of that caliber don't have to try. Actually, I don't know. NHL, do you think people recognize him?
A lot of NHL guys are wifed up, though. I know that they all cheat on their significant others, but, like, I don't know.
Don't say that.
I mean,
we don't know.
I mean, they do. But yeah, I don't know anything about how McDavid pulls.
He probably does, I would assume.
I mean, in Canada, yeah. In Edmonton, yeah. If he came to fucking like LA, no, people would be like, "Who's this loser?"
Maybe. I don't know. If the NHL starts to actually market him better, and people actually like he should be a household name. I mean, he should be. But right now,
he should be like LeBron James, Tom Brady, Connor McDavid.
Yeah, and he has the name for it. It's such an easy name to market. The things he does, and with the name, you'd think it'd be easy. But the NHL is just so fucking bad at their job that they can't market a guy like that.
I think a non-NHL fan watches that clip and goes, "Oh, cool goal." Like, they don't realize how difficult that is.
Dude, I've seen there was obviously it was all over the place after it happened, but I mean, for the most part, I was seeing people like jaw drop. Like, this is nuts. Like, how is anybody capable of doing this?
I mean, those were all hockey people, though.
Right, and I agree a little bit that like it was a really awesome goal. But I think Connor can do better. I really do. Like, I think that was amateur hour for him. I think he can do that at any given moment. That's just how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, G's done that a couple times. Maybe not through 4 guys, but 2 or 3.
He did. Remember, it was like
Tampa
5
Bay.
guys against Tampa.
He went between the legs, stick lift on McDonough.
That was arguably
on the other
more.
End, and then went, left to right around.
I don't know if that was more impressive because when he did it, it was slightly slower.
It was way slower, but
quick. But
that didn't get any publicity.
Exactly. Every single thing G did there was beautiful high hockey IQ. Like that's one of the best players in the game. But then
it also wasn't like
it
wasn't the game winner.
Yeah, it was just a game tying goal. Yeah.
Or that
but
game
like
time.
when McDavid did it, it was like 3 seconds. He goes into the zone, the puck's in the net. Like boom, done.
It's just not fair that they have McDavid and Draisaitl on that team. Draisaitl is so fucking good too. He's overshadowed a lot, but he is so good.
And they still can't win more than one playoff series.
It's goaltending. All right, take us to the post game.
Yeah, let's do it. So post game, we've been rattling off for almost an hour and a half now, so we'll try to keep it tight here. Let's start with Giroux. So Giroux is in a contract year, and he is scoring at an elite pace, basically. And a lot of people have started to, speculate. Is he competing for a bigger contract? What is he like? Like that kind of bullshit that you'll hear in any kind of contract year. So I want to hear your thoughts. I kind of have my feelings on it, but I kind of want to hear what you have to say first.
I think he's like, this is our time. Like, he's just taken over the team fully. It's like it's a completely new locker room. He's the leader. He's telling everyone that, and he's leading by example, and it's showing up on the score sheet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he knows him and AV, dude. They both have the same mission here. Like, AV's trying to get G his Stanley Cup, and G's trying to get AV his Stanley Cup. And it's you can't start late. You can't have a late start.
And you said it perfectly. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. Giroux is going to be on the Flyers for the remainder of his career.
Yeah.
He is not playing to get paid more. He's playing to win a Stanley Cup. And that just so happens to be him changing his game slightly and shooting the puck a lot more than he ever has. Because as every good player should, you need to change your game year by year to stay relevant and still be an elite player in this league. And Giroux knows that better than anybody, that like he's always been a passer, a playmaker, that if he changes his game to, be a guy that's going to shoot the puck more, he is easily capable of putting up 30 goals a year. Easily. And I think he probably will this year at this rate, or get very close to it.
Yep. So he's in 10 games, 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points. And he leads the team in shots at 32.
That's crazy. Like, I would have thought Atkinson or Farabee.
Well, Atkinson has 31, so it's close.
Yeah,
but
it's close.
He's got 15.6 shooting percentage, like 63.5% on the face-off. He's just, what more do you want from him?
It's over 60% on face-offs is
insane.
A lot of people don't look too much into it, but that is really, really, really good. Even to be over 50% is good. 60, like to think of all the things people vote on nowadays, like in politics, I guess, like usually like the swing in that is like 51% to 49, 52 to 48. It's very slim. The fact that Giroux has 10% more face-off wins and losses, it's nuts. It's like absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I was trying to see if he leads the league.
He may.
I'm trying to find.
You know who does lead the league? This is a little off topic, but Martin Jones leads the league in goals or save percentage.
Yes, he does. 950.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's a nice little stat to have.
And he's the top 3 in goals against average, 1.67.
I guess only 3 games will put you there, but
that's the threshold. Played 3 or more games.
There you go. I love it. Anything else on Drew?
Not really. I just reiterate everything you said. Like, he's not playing to make more money. He's playing to fucking win games, and he's fucking showing it. And there's a fire under his ass, and I fucking love it.
100%. He is a competitor, and that's all he is. There's no other way to look at it. He's the best player in the world. All right. So let's take a look to wrap up this episode. Let's take a look to the future. So the Flyers have 11 games in 21 nights coming up. I believe that starts tomorrow night against Toronto. And it's basically all against very good teams. Obviously, there's a couple, here and there, but
do you want me to roll through them real quick?
Yeah. Why don't you roll through them?
All right. Toronto at home, at Carolina, at Dallas, Calgary at home, Tampa Bay at home, Boston at home, at Tampa Bay, at Florida, Carolina at home, at New Jersey, and then the Islanders at home.
Okay. That was all 11?
Yep.
Okay. So I was keeping track. There's one game in there that's like, we should probably just win this game.
Devils.
And it's against the Devils.
And it's at the end.
And it's at the end. And then, like, the Devils actually don't look so terrible. Like, they have some good pieces.
They're still above 500, right?
Yeah, and they're kind of decent. It's not.
I think they got some guys out, but I think Dougie got injured, and so did Jack Hughes.
Yeah,
but still, we should win that game. But like the way that the Devils have played us in the past, wouldn't be surprised if we'd lose.
Right, the Devils have always played us really hard, so I could definitely see us losing that game. But I did hear Tampa twice, Carolina twice, and if I'm mistaken, maybe Florida twice as well.
Florida just once.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, so we got Calgary again, who just crushed us. We got Carolina twice, Tampa Bay twice, and Boston, Florida, New York Islanders, New York Devils, and Dallas Stars. So like the Stars and the Devils, like there's no easy game there. There's no like we should win that game. I can't even say that, but like those are the two we probably have the best chance of winning.
This is the time of season that I love. I absolutely thrive watching these, set of games. I think this is what'll show us whether the Flyers are here to play or not. Are they capable of winning a Stanley Cup this year or what? And we'll find that out. So 21 nights, obviously. Next episode, we're not going to be able to get all of those games, but we'll get a good chunk of them since all the games will be very close in proximity to each other.
Yeah. So
if they do good here, so if they go like at least like 7-4.
No, so I was gonna say 22 total points, right? Available.
Right.
What's a successful?
What's good?
Yeah. What would you say is good, and then what would you expect?
15. I want 15 points.
15 out of 22.
That's 5 wins, at least, and some overtime losses. That's a lot of overtime losses. Yeah. That's like, all right, so 15 might be like...
It's 7 wins and 1 overtime loss.
Yeah, sorry. 15, it's a little too much. 15 points is a lot. That's like we played incredible, I would say. I'd say if we get over like 12, let's say. So you win 6 games out of those 11. So you go 6-5 at worst. But you got to assume there's going to be an overtime loss or 2 in there. So I'm thinking if you at least get that 5 to 6 wins, including overtime losses, you would have had a good stretch of games there against some of the best teams in the league. So
yeah, I would say that's accurate. Looking back at literally looking at the calendar now, I'm like, yeah, getting 6 of those is probably considered successful.
Really good, and you got to think they're going to be really tired some of those games. So there's going to be games where we're watching And you know it's going to happen. People on tour are going to be like, holy shit, we look so slow and tired out there. And it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Like, these guys need rest. This is our last 3-day rest before, I don't even know when the next one is. Maybe the Olympic break. And what's that, in January?
February, I believe.
Yeah, it's a long time away. I guess there's a little Christmas break, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they had. I think the most they have is 2 days off, like you said.
2 days is good.
Until Christmas. Until Christmas Eve. So.
Okay, so that's a
then
long
they
ways
get
away.
5. They get 5 days off. Then they go out west again to do the whole Seattle, San Jose, L.A., Anaheim,
California, Oregon.
The Disney on Ice trip.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But yeah, I mean, if they can have a good stretch of games here, I mean, this is the season in a nutshell, I think.
And those are all top teams, like, in their respective divisions. Like, Florida, Toronto, and Tampa are the 1, 2, 3 in the Atlantic. And then we play Carolina as the one in our division. And, like, I mean, the Metro, you can't even look at the standings. The teams are so close.
Nah, yeah, literally 8 out of 8 teams are good.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Dallas is middle of the road. I mean, they're sub 500, but
Dallas still scares me.
They have really good talent up front still, and
they really do.
And they have good enough goaltending.
And they got Klingberg and Heiskanen, you know, whatnot back on D.
That's what I'm saying. There's no gimme game here. There's no Buffalo. They've been playing well, but you know what I mean. There's no. I mean, even Seattle, Arizona, Chicago, Ottawa, Montreal. Like, Montreal. Talk about sucking out of the gate. 3-10-0.
It's so funny going from the Stanley Cup team to they aren't.
Well, that was their
playoffs.
like Cinderella series. Like, they should not have made. They should have been out in that first round.
Oh yeah, I mean they might get a top 5 pick.
They could.
I think they will. If I had to bet on it, I would bet they would. They sent Cole. Let's end the episode with this. Cole Caulfield was sent down to the fucking minors. How fucking hilarious is that?
My favorite part is, I think, on either his Twitter or Instagram, like, he took Montreal Canadiens out of his bio.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I love that petty shit.
That, like, to be honest, if I was a Montreal fan, I would be pretty pissed at him for that. That's a little too, what's the word? I don't know. He's a little
immature.
A little immature, a little butthurt that management was like, go actually do well and we'll call you back up. But it's funny because really remember when people were saying 40 goals for Caulfield this year?
Yeah, he's not going to win the...
Dude might not even get 10.
Oof.
Yeah, I hope that hurts Montreal fans' feelings.
Yep, we'll see how Cam York plays this year.
He's not gonna, though. Which I'm okay with because he's still developing.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, we touched on Ellis, but he could be back for the Wednesday game, which is huge. I just hope he's fully healthy.
Oh, that's cool.
They sent Nick Seeler down, and everyone's like, "Oh, Ellis," but they could just be capping, space.
I hesitated tweeting about that, actually. I was like, Ellis, and I was like, nope.
They could call him back up on Wednesday.
It's like, nope, we had $136 in cap space to start the year. It's just Chuck Fletcher trying to create some wiggle room.
Just let Ellis fully heal. Like, we don't need him the most right now. We need him the most at the end of the season into the playoffs.
Exactly.
We don't need him the most right now. Let him fully heal. I don't want him to get injured again the rest of the year.
He will. He'll 100% get injured again.
I don't want to re-aggravate the same injury because he didn't rest long enough. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in rushing him back right now.
But what is that injury? Because
they've
really not told us. And that's what I don't like at all. Why can't we know? It's not fair.
I don't know. You know, they just say, like, lower body injury or like groin or something. Like,
I know, but like,
something up.
Dude, just tell us. Tell him he has a freaking rolled ankle and he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks or some stupid shit. Like, I just want to know the actual scientific injury that he is dealing with. But whatever. It is what it is. And we're winning hockey games without him, so it's no big deal.
Insane.
But yeah.
That's what every time we lose I tell myself that. Like, we don't have Ellis. It's fine.
Yep. It's a good way to think about it.
Yep. I'll wrap it up though. That's our episode of Tie My Skates. Please like, comment, follow on Twitter and Instagram at Tie My Skates Pod, and listen anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Z. He's Drunk Gritty. See you guys next time.